everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. We are a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we've read all our part of manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week we are reading a hella R-rated manga. We're gonna get that
super R-rated.
We read some porn this week. It's called 10 Count. That is the manga that we will be discussing. So if you are underage, uncomfortable with porn speakage, take your leave right now, because it's all we're going to be talking about for the next hour, 45 minutes.
And it's a special type, because it's not just any porn, it's yaoi porn.
It's guy on guy porn.
Yeah. There's a lot to unbox here. So just like
just so forewarned.
Yeah, just like be aware.
I am Erin, a happily Erin. And having my hosts go around and introduce themselves, please.
Hi, I'm Dodger of Happily Dodger. And let's do Yaoi Pod, shall we, guys?
Yaoi Pod, Yaoi Pod.
I'm into the idea of this Yaoi Pod experience. It's gonna be fun. My name's Leo. I'm from Lutox Anime. What's up, everybody? Time to talk some deep dickin'. So much deep dickin'. Oh God, so much.
Not really, actually.
This shit was way more lewd than I remember, because we were gonna read this before. And I remember reading, I think, 11 chapters and being like, yeah, this is pretty lewd. And we had to cancel for whatever reason. And now I read more of it, and holy shit, yeah, it's R-rated. Also, my name is Lou. I said that already, but I'm gonna say it again.
And I'm Sarah, so thanks for having me on, and I'm from 42Believer, although I haven't made a video in a while, but that's going to change, hopefully, coming very soon, so.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on Yaoi Pod, always.
Always. I always got to be there, because you know, Erin, we've talked about yaoi quite a bit.
Yeah, we've had many discussions where we're just like, have you read this one? Okay, what did you think about this one?
It'd be like, oh, have you seen this artist? This artist has really cute stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. I love it. It was super fun. So if we ever do a Yaoi Pod, if we don't have you on it, it just feels like a betrayal. It doesn't feel right.
It's a top 10 anime betrayal.
Top 10
That's still a
anime
meme that's
betrayal.
going on.
Exactly. All right, if you guys have never joined us for a manga pod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga that we read. That will be read by Sarah, and then we'll give you spoiler-free recommendations whether we think you should spend time going to read this manga or not, and I'm very excited to hear what everybody's are. So we will do that. This is all spoiler-free. We ask nobody post any spoilers in the spoiler section until we get to the spoiler section. The comment sections where I don't want you to post spoilers, and then when we get to the spoiler section, you can post spoilers for anything of what we read after chapter 31. Please don't post any spoilers for anything after that. So that's what we do. That's how we do it. Sarah, if you don't mind.
Yes. So, when the president got into an accident, Shirotani Tadomi met Kurose. On their very first meeting, Kurose could tell right away that Shirotani is misophobic, and that said that it's pretty bad, while suggesting it would be better to consult a doctor about it. Shirotani was left perturbed by the encounter. Who is Kurose, and how is he able to tell Shirotani's condition?
Awesome.
Wow, that is very succinct.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very,
you know, sometimes
bones.
I'm really proud of the summaries. Like, that was clean. Good. Great.
It's not 2 or 3 paragraphs long. Claymore.
Yeah.
Or is it Battle Angel? One of the two have a horrible, terrible summary that when I have to read it for chat to guess, I'm like...
Both times we've read Black Lagoon, the description for Black Lagoon is basically the entire fucking story of Black Lagoon, and we're like, how do we cut this down?
Oh. All right, spoiler-free? Just spoiler-free recommendations. Who wants to go first?
I can go. So this... I love the setup of this story. I love, like, the characters and why they interact. I wish that it had been a little bit slower of a progression, and there are some tropes in it that really bother me because they show up all the time, and I'm just like, God, I fucking hate this. So it kept me from like completely enjoying it, to be honest. But I'm still like rooting for them. So I guess like that says something. So yeah, I think that I would recommend it. Just keep in mind it's got some of those old tropes that just bother me, but yeah,
those yaoi tropes.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. Like, I've read this mangaka's stuff before, and most of her stuff we actually read 7 Days by her a few years ago, and I love her stuff. I love her characters. Her art is my favorite. Like, I love her art so much, and so I was very interested in the premise of this, and I agree with everything Dodger says, that I thought that the pacing of it, especially for what we read, was really quick, especially for the condition that Shirotani has. And so so the pacing issues are the biggest thing for me in the tropes, like Dodger said. So if you enjoy yaoi or interested in this kind of a story, then I recommend going and checking it out.
I like that we're trying to like not spoil stuff but still be like, there are tropes in it. If you read a lot of yaoi, you probably know what tropes we're talking about.
Yes. And if you don't, they're just like, what are they? They're going to hang around for spoiler section because they're going to be like, what does it mean?
I mean, I already mentioned deep dicking, so.
You did.
Well,
And,
I
like,
mean,
we've
that.
already, like, broadcasted
I don't know that
this shit
counts
is
as a trope
fucking
of
rated R.
yaoi. It's just.
Yeah.
It is rated R. But deep dicking, you know what? Spoiler.
You were about to be like, but deep dicking. Okay, no. Don't keep it
Let's
in.
talk about
Rein
the
it
deep
in.
dicking, shall we?
Restrain the deep dicking for later, Erin. Come on.
I
Gotta
really
stay professional. We have a format here.
No, I think I definitely do agree with both of you, because I think we all know that yaoi is just something it's got those tropes, man, and you even like the number of yaoi out there that are okay and tolerable enough that still have some of those tropes. You kind of have to like take your wins where you can get them.
Yeah.
So if you are a fan of yaoi, if you're already someone who is into the genre, I think this is something that you would enjoy. If you've never read any of them before, it might not be your first choice. I would recommend not.
Yeah.
And if you're not into this thing at all, then and you don't like these tropes because you are familiar with yaoi and don't like it because of that, then this definitely isn't for you.
Yeah.
So that's my spoiler-free review.
Awesome.
All right, well, mine is a tad different because I know the last time that we brought up or we did a yaoi pod, I was disappointed because there wasn't a lot of deep dicking. But now I feel like there was too much. There wasn't enough balance in the story. Like, I need a happy medium. Like, last time we read No Touching. And No Touching, I thought, was pretty solid for what it was. I thought like, it was just a more toned down, sensible romance story that did have some lewd scenes, which is fine. I thought that was perfectly cool. This one is a little bit more... I'm not going to say tropes because I'm not familiar with the genre, but there's some issues with consent that I'm not happy with. That's the most I'm going to say.
That's
for
the
now.
trope.
Dodger, spoiler.
Oh, sorry, fuck.
I would like before we go. Oh, go ahead, Liz. Sorry.
Just to wrap up my spoiler-free recommendation. If you like the idea of two dudes doing things that are like 50 Shades of Grey, kinda, but not really, but kinda, that in that vein, then this is probably
same amount of consent. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good analogy.
I would like to disclaim that both Dodger and Lou were upset with the amount of dicks that were in the previous.
That is true. Pod. We were like,
so
next
Sarah
time.
We were like, We got
More
you.
dicks.
And see, what's so funny is that Lou, you're like, and now there was too much, and I'm like, I don't even think this. Like, there are some yaoi that start right from the first chapter. Like, you don't understand.
Well, that's like, maybe I should. I'll just save it. I'll save it.
Let's jump into spoiler section.
Okay.
Roger, you'll say first.
We're going into spoiler section. Get out of here if you don't want to be spoiled on stuff. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Butt plug is gone.
Yeah.
The butt plug was God.
The butt plug.
What I was gonna say was the mangaka, like right at the beginning, was like, now, this cover might make you think that some lewd stuff is gonna happen very quickly, but I promise this is a slow burn story. And so I was because the first few chapters. Okay, look, what were your expectations? Here we go. I was expecting that like we were gonna get like a nice slow progression because we had this like in the story narrative of a character who literally fucking hates being touched and needs like trust and like all kinds of things established for him, right? And when the first like sexual thing happened, I was like, This was not the time. This was not the time. This was not the time for this. Not enough was established here. This was not the time.
Like there's a whole list of 1 through 10 that was supposed to build to that being the climax.
Right? And instead it was like, no,
bullshit.
it's cool.
Here's the bullshit. They needed him to be a fucking masochist. Like there's no joy in it if the consent is questionable.
Yeah.
It isn't questionable. Like it needed to be there.
But like
fucking bullshit.
It was I have big problems with it because there was never a conversation or a situation where like we were in the other dude's head as he like realized this about him or like understood this about him and like they talked about it at all, or like I was just like the explanation coming way late, like chapters later, of him being like, I realized at some point that this was all of a sexual nature and that you feel that you're disgusting because you're the one who's making me disgusting, so I had to force this on you. I was like, you didn't.
No.
You didn't.
It's like the
you
worst,
didn't.
the worst retconning. Like I hate when yaoi authors do that. They like retcon their own story. It's like either stick to your guns or don't. Like you've already made the mistake.
Yeah.
So
I was
really
upset.
You can't erase it. You can't make it nicer. You know.
Because I really do like the characters, and I like their like relationship in terms of like a psychiatrist and a person who is extremely germophobic, right? Yeah. And the way that it started to be established, I was like, this is going to be really interesting. Like, I'm really excited to read this. And then once it crossed that threshold of just like, let's just throw all of the like trust building out the window, I was like, what the fuck am I reading anymore?
I am the same way. I feel like she had to, I don't know if it's because of like it was in a magazine and the fans wanted it or the editors, but I feel like the mangaka got pushed into adding the sex so much earlier than she probably wanted or she like necessarily would have benefited, because I feel like the characters and the building of that relationship and then slowly having it be revealed as he gets more comfortable and is showing a little bit more consent or they talk about it more. I feel like the sex stuff happened boom, 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 like way too fast. Like you're talking about pacing. And I think it's something that if we had like 15 more chapters, like if everything we read had only one sex scene in it, I think it would have like made so much more sense for the characters. And I would have been like, all right, that would have been so much better. Whereas this, I'm like, what? No, like don't lick his hand. Don't do this. Don't do this. What are you doing?
Well, it also doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. No, you're good. It doesn't make any sense because, and you and I know this, we've read her before, and she doesn't really write like that. So it doesn't make sense from her writing perspective. I was way expecting her to take so much more time with this when I started reading it, and she just didn't. She didn't meet my expectations in that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I it felt like she was trying to make it okay by having like a couple frames of him being like, man, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Just like, cool. And then literally immediately followed up by, hey, do you want to like grab dinner? Okay. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening in this story?
Or even the whole like when Shiratani asks what's going out, like what is happening when a guy and a guy goes out, and then later Kurose just like pushes himself on him. It's like, this is what it's about, and it's just like no consent anything. I'm like, no, consent.
Especially in this story. Like, especially in this story where somebody like is, oh my god, has so much trauma. I was just like,
yeah.
You feel so conflicted inside, you know?
So upset.
Like, would you have been more okay with the story if early on, like during the first scene, there would have been just a throwaway line of dialogue to the effect of, this would be so okay if I didn't have this condition. I would love this if there wasn't this condition. Just one line of dialogue to establish at least a modicum of consent. You know,
I think,
it's like,
honestly,
which I mean,
that would have helped a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like,
it's small steps, but they make a big difference.
And I wonder how much of that is lost in translation, honestly.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what was omitted by the people that made the translations. So
yeah. There was a part, like I completely forgot because I read the first few chapters forever ago. But when he's first going to the hospital, because he's like, all right, I do want to talk to a doctor about my condition. And then Kurose meets him and is like, oh, how about you talk to me instead? I was like, wait, sir. You may be a counselor, but you've said you usually work with children. And also, we find out later. And that's something with, like, Kurose, I'm just like, he feels like a completely different person, and he kind of terrifies me from who he was at the start to what we found out later. And it feels like up and down, and I think it's because it's so rushed that it doesn't feel like it clicks with the same person as who he was before. And so, yeah, it's just been it was very jarring, that flashback and what where he's at with his mindset right now.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Like trampling over everybody because I'm so heated about this fucking manga. No, when Sarah said, yeah, it's kind of like 50 Shades of Grey, I was like, fuck, that's so true.
Lou.
Because, like,
Lou.
Oh, it was Lou, sorry. Because he literally makes choices from a selfish, manipulative place that, like, wasn't clear until you realize later that he's, like, fetishized this illness. And, like, that whole backstory reveal, I was like, wow, this relationship is kind of fucked up. Like, this is, like, a really fucked up relationship then.
And, like, the fact that Shirotani is at this point getting, like, to trust Kurose and is starting to, like, having that dependence on him, because he's the first person that he's ever touched like that, who's ever done that. And so the fact that Shirotani is now being twisted to see Kurose as, like, that dependability is like, oh no. It just feels icky. Like, there's something about it that feels so icky. And I don't know if it's, like, from the start, I think it might be because, like what Sarah said, I've read her other works before, and this is so different. Like, it's way darker. And so I think going into it, I was expecting something fluffy and cute and, like, oh, he's going to help him through. And instead, and, like, with some sex scenes and stuff, because that's what happens. But it's just not. Like, it's so much darker, and it's hard in my brain to just, like, associate her previous works with this one, which is totally on me. Like, I shouldn't be doing that in terms of, like, our authors can write different tones and stuff. But I feel like her general, like, cuteness and fluffiness and meet cutes and stuff at the beginning was very similar to everything else. And so it's like, is it me not being able to go away from what she's written before, or is it something that's just was very jarring because of the pacing, if that makes sense?
I feel like sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
okay. I was gonna say that I would probably feel more okay with the storytelling if I felt the mangaka was more committed to one tone over the other, because I feel like the sexual side of their relationship and the romantic side of their relationship are two very different things. And like the mangaka, in a way, is presenting a dichotomy that we're supposed to see or to represent, kind of like the struggle that Shirotani is experiencing with Kurose, where he's trying to fall in love and be in love, but also at the same time overcoming the fear of his illness.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like either if the mangaka would have committed to the cutesy side of the things, I think it would have made for a better romance story. If the mangaka would have committed to the darker tones and themes, I feel like it would have engaged me a little bit more on that side of it. Where if it's more of a story of abuse and people breaking, I feel like going like staying in the middle in between the two is hurting the story more than it's helping it.
I agree. The pacing feels like it's all over the place. Which really is, yeah, it's too bad. Because now it's gone from feeling like originally these characters and their stories were put together to create like an interesting dynamic, and now it feels like it's an excuse for like kind of squicky sexual encounters that happen too often for the I don't know.
Yeah. And yeah, that's why I was really just like overall disappointed, just because I know this author has done fluffy stuff, but more than just being fluffy, I always thought that the relationships, as short of a long of a run those volumes had, I always felt the relationships were built really nicely, and like it felt real and genuine, and like, oh, these two people do like each other, and I just didn't really ever get to that point at like any point during this manga. And I think if it had ever reached that simple point, everything would have been better. Like everything.
Yeah, like Dodger said, it felt like, oh, I'm just gonna start adding more and more porn into this.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, it wasn't necessary. Like Sarah said, her previous stories, the characters' relationships build so much easier, and it's only like 12 chapters, and all of her other ones have always been really short. And it's just going, how were you able to build such a strong relationship that everyone just loves in 12 chapters, whereas here it just feels confusing, and like the line of consent is just all over the place. It's just, yeah, I'm like, you're on way too fast to be curing something like that.
I think it might have a little bit to do with the fact that she is kind of one of the more up and coming, really well selling yaoi mangakas, like in recent years, like a new artist on the scene, and her art's really good as well. So I think that it might have put pressure on her. Maybe her editor was putting pressure on her and saying, you're not going to keep these sales if you don't put in more sex, because you have to. And I think she would have done better if she just stuck to her.
Just put some dicks in there. You got a great dick style.
She's real good at drawing dicks. Like, I don't think any of us can dispute how great the dicks she drew were. Can I just say, now that we're talking, one of the dick things I laughed at so hard was when Shirotani saw Kurose's dick for the first time. I was like, he's a monster. And then later they were drawn together, and his is literally so much bigger.
You don't see that often in yaoi, so that was kind
normally
of
they're
nice
about
to
the same
see.
size. Yeah.
Yeah, normally they're about to say, or you don't even see them at all because the dicks are covered up by censorship. It's just white. Yeah.
That's another thing. You don't usually see dicks like this. They were so vivid. I'm like, oh, there they are.
True. I'm very used to seeing little white clouds where the dick is supposed to be.
Yep. And so, yeah. What do you guys?
Same, I guess. I don't know. I've only read one yaoi.
Same.
Well, and I think that's also why this is all the more disappointing, is because she is good, has been good in the past. Her art is really good. I want to support her work, and I hope she continues to make more good yaoi manga. And I just feel I went into this and I was so excited because it seemed really cool and really interesting and really different for a yaoi. And then it got so bad, and I didn't want to admit it. And I was like mad at myself. And I'm like, no, this is not okay. You how did you do that? You betrayed me. This is another top 10 anime betrayals. No. I even bought one of the art books at Anime Boston. I bought one of her art books. And I'm actually really excited because one of her non-yaoi stories is getting adapted into English.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Grain Lears. So I'm really excited about that as well. But I was just really sad and disappointed overall with just like she could have done so much with it.
Yeah. What was your guys' least favorite and favorite sex scene?
I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it.
The introduction of the butt plug was pretty interesting.
Wait, I can't tell. Is that your favorite or least favorite then? Interesting doesn't give me all the information.
The best one, because that's when it nosedived into the absurdity of the sex. Because before that, okay, they had their one scene. Okay, and then that was introduced. And that it was from that point going forward that, okay, there's going to be some hardcore shit going on here.
I didn't expect to go directly from butt plug into we're having sex now. Once again, I was like, that ramped very, 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 very fast.
Oh my god.
So that was your favorite. What was your least favorite, Lou?
The last major sex scene, but not because of what happened in the sex scene. It's more that everything was just paced too closely together, and it felt like nothing had room to breathe at all.
Absolutely. The fact that halfway through them having sex is when we get 2 chapters of backstory for one of the characters. I'm just like, okay.
Timing.
Yeah, I agree. That one was like threw me for a loop.
Oh gosh, probably my least favorite is the last sex scene. Just because it was like too much, too fast, and once again, I was just like, "There's no trust here. There's no trust here." Favorite. It's so hard to talk about a favorite sex scene without just sounding like a lewd monster. But here we go. Questions on the table. Probably when he finally like breaks down and masturbates. Because, like, he establishes, like, I never masturbate because it, like, grosses me out, right? And we have, like, the backstory with him, like, feeling disgusting every time he did when he was younger. And I don't know. I thought that there was something interesting psychologically going on there. And it reminded me of the scene from Secretary when she gets spanked for the first time and like, has all of the, like, red marks all over her paper. And she's, like, super turned on by it. I was like, man, people just run into bathrooms because they gotta masturbate now for the weirdest reasons.
I actually think, that one is interesting because it like felt purposeful to the story. Like it felt like a necessary one, which like it felt okay within what we're seeing. I think my least favorite was also the last one. And then I think it's gonna sound very weird, but the first blowjob scene, only because there's really cute cuddling after, and it's just like they're like cuddling. He's like, my legs are weak or whatever, and Kurosa is just giving him a hug. I was like, this is so cute. That was my favorite. They can be so fucking adorable when they're not there's no consent. When there's consent, they're so cute.
Is it right after that when the time skip happens? Isn't that when he leaves and Kurose comes over to be like, to like say something to him, and he's like, you're disgusting, and then they'd be like time skip like months. I thought those were the same scene. case, it would be hilarious that all you remembered was the cuddling. But maybe I'm misremembering it.
We all remember what we want to see. I think for me, I'm gonna have to agree with Lou and say that the first scene with the butt plug was my favorite as well. Shut up. My boyfriend's giggling in the background. It's good because I think that I, especially later when you get all the really bad, like all the bad consent, no consent, not good, bad tropes, bad yaoi, go home, bad yaoi. Another really bad trope of
Let
yaoi
that die in the 90s.
Yeah. We're
done with it. We're over it.
Another really bad trope with yaoi that I don't think gets talked about as much, but I accept that it's something that's just not going to happen because it's all drawn by females, so they really aren't drawing things that are supposed to be accurate. But for that scene, he was like not just going dick first in, like he was like lube and the butt plug, and like that's actually really good, better preparation than absolutely no preparation, which is like 90%, 99% of probably what you see in yaoi. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was like, wow, that's why I was really excited too, because I was like, well, maybe it won't be all bad because she at least was attempting something that's accurate to actual gay sex.
Erin and I have talked quite a few times about the awkwardness of self-slicking buttholes, so... We're just like, whose butthole is like that? No one's.
No, and then what's really bad lately, especially because the trends of yaoi have shifted onto the whole alpha, beta, omega thing, where like,
God, yes,
Omegaverse,
where then the omegas can do that. It really is a self-slicking butthole, and it's just like, no, you cheap cop-outs, you. I hate you all. You gotta understand how much yaoi I consume. Like, I just see everything. Look,
we're on the same page with you. We follow this conversation.
I retract the god of this manga. The god of this manga is fucking Sarah. Sarah, you are the yaoi god.
I accept my title with something less than dignity. But no, and then I think my least favorite is also the last scene. Yeah, I think that was pretty clear and just awkward and bad all over. But yeah, I was really pumped. It seemed for a moment there was so many glimmers of hope, and they were all shattered.
Yeah, even from the very first, like when Erin was like, "Don't lick his hand," like even when it was only hand licking. Right? When that scene was only hand licking, I was like, this could like wind up with a really crazy interaction because he's got his glove off. He's got cuts all over his hand, right? From washing his hands all the time. And this dude is like licking him. And it's probably going to end in like 0.5 seconds. And he's going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? And the other dude's going to be like, my bad. I was licking your hand. That's weird. And then like, we were going to progress from there. But instead it turned into a like over the pants hand job. Like everything just went too far, too fast in every scene. Not my favorite.
Something I think that added, I was just thinking, that added to make the pace weird / the atmosphere feel off was the in-between like little scenes that we got that were so cute and so sweet. And then we would jump back in and he's like giving him a blowjob when he didn't want it. It's just like, it just jumped.
Yeah.
It was so, those were like part of my favorite thing, were those cute little cutscene things. Yeah. I was like, these were so adorable. And it like showed their personalities as a couple really well. And so I think it just didn't help it.
Every time somebody's like, I just got here, what's going on? I'm just spamming, this is rated R. Because we've been talking about blowjobs a lot. Just FYI.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I feel like all of us are kind of on the same page of this manga had a lot of potential in terms of how it was set up, and then like really disappointed all of us in terms of like how it dealt with consent, how it dealt with pacing, how it dealt with like the dignity of their characters. Like it was just overall really sad because again, the art is great. It's like great art. It's just like squandered.
Yeah, what are you guys'
They're so
feelings
pretty.
on?
They're
on the
so
art?
pretty, and they're so nicely toned and everything. And she knows how to draw actual body proportions, unlike most yaoi artists.
What do you mean? Everybody's hands are the size of 2 heads? In real life, that's what I always thought.
What, you mean they have actual chins and not just like, knives?
Blocks? Yeah.
Like this.
They're either blocks or knives.
Yeah.
One of the two. Yeah, I love her art. I love her art so much, and it just keeps getting better. And she draws backgrounds so well. She shades so well. She draws hair great. Her characters are just so pretty, and just attractive. Like Kurose. Okay, you know what? I'm not saying. I'm not finished.
Were you gonna talk about the sparkly dicks, Erin?
No.
No, she's gonna talk about how much she loves Kurose.
I find
You-
Kurose
you-
very attractive. I think we talked about this before. I think I sent you a screen cap of the scene. Okay.
With the can?
No, the one when he's on his knees, but that sounds really weird.
Go on. Which one, Erin?
The one
Which one when he's on his knees?
Please do tell.
after the aquarium, when Shirotani's like, "You got it all," like the penguin stuff got all over my pant leg, and then Kurose kneels down and is like, "Where did it get dirty?" And then he looks up and he's just smoldering and handsome. But I didn't want to say I love it when he's on his knees, because that just it fits.
It
with
would have
the-
been par for this MangaPod if that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, I just find him attractive. Okay, that's enough. He's drawn very pretty.
Mm.
And I do think her art is getting better. Like, this is much better than 7 Days. And I thought 7 Days was really good anyway for whatever, like, as far as standards of yaoi go.
Mhm.
So and then Grain Layers is like next level, like even better.
Mm-hmm.
Go read Grain Layers. Anyway, Lou, sorry I interrupted you.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I really like the art for this. All the character designs were different enough from each other, which is something that I value when I appraise art, is because it would be easy, and a lot of mangaka do this, where they draw very similar characters where it's difficult to distinguish who is who. And I never really had that problem with this manga. I
Same.
clearly knew who was who, and that helped with the flow of the story. That aside, the designs themselves were really like well done, and they were very sleek designs, and I thought they were well executed. The shading and the just line work throughout, both in the foreground and background, had a nice degree of polish that I did not expect. So yeah, I thought the art was great for this one. Probably my favorite part of it, outside of like the relationship in the first 10 chapters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Dodger, are you gonna say something?
No. I'm just explaining yaoi beds to chat.
Oh my god, yaoi beds are such a funny trope to me. Why? Why do you need to draw beds that
Just,
big?
since we're talking about somebody who actually draws things in proportion, we didn't have that problem in this manga.
Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes when you're reading yaoi, the bed is the size of a house and the people boning on it are ants, and it's weird. Like, why is the bed so much bigger? Doesn't make any sense.
Every time.
Everything's
Every
bigger
time.
in yaoi. It's like sexist.
Hands, beds, the usual.
Necks,
Usual.
shoulders.
Sometimes I've seen dicks that are too big. I'm like, no, that would not.
Everything's
fit.
bigger in yaoi. That's what I'm
So
saying.
yaoi's basically Texas, right?
Yaoi is Texas.
Yaoi is Texas.
Yaoi's Texas.
Yep.
There's a lot of Texans who would probably get mad by that, so I approve.
I would love a bed the
Right.
size of a house, understandably.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be really nice.
Mm.
Does anybody have anything else they want to say? Otherwise, we can do our final thoughts and ratings.
Oh, good. I think we covered all, pretty much everything.
Yeah.
All the big things.
Mm-hmm. Bless you. Oh, god damn it. Every time I pre-bless you,
I feel like that's the curse, yeah.
must be it. I won't bless you anymore.
It's okay.
It's okay. All right, final thoughts and ratings. Gosh. I'm trying to think. I think I would give it a 6.5. 6.5 to a 7. Just because, like Lou said, the first 10 chapters with the characters and their relationship there was progressed really well and was so sweet, and I was really rooting for them. And I'm still like interested to see where they go, and what happens with their relationship. But the latter half, like part of what we read, just went way too fast. The sex scenes felt way too quick, or like were inserted way before they should have been, especially for the subject matter that was happening. Separately, I mean, I do really enjoy the characters. I enjoy the art and the character designs, but I also just enjoy the characters and who they are. And that's why sometimes when Kurose especially does things, I'm like, no, like, why? What is that? Why are you doing this? So yeah, I think a 6.5, I think is justified for especially what we read. And the art, I mean, the art was so good. So I enjoyed a lot about it, and there's a lot of stuff, like the lack of consent just really, really bugged me out. So
yeah, I was gonna give it a 5 because it felt like the things that I was excited about in the first chapters were just squandered so fast, and it really tainted the rest of the story for me. I thought the art was gorgeous. I love the setup, like the characters and who they are, and their reason to have met and have a relationship. All of that was so interesting, but the pacing was just wrong. The like every sex scene felt wrong. Like it was just there was a lot that I had problems with that kept me from really enjoying it, and I think it only made it worse that at the beginning I was going, this is going to be a really cool story, right, about these two people, and so I would give it a 5.
I'm going to just echo everything you just said, Dodger, with one exception. My score was originally going to be a 5 out of 10 because of the art and all that. But chat has picked up this Texas is Yaoi meme and has ran with it for fucking miles. So I'm bumping it up to a 5.5. This shit was reading.
Chat, you did it.
You did good, chat.
Yaoi spelled backwards is Texas. Good job. That's great. I love it.
Amazing.
So I think I'm probably going to give it actually a 4.5. Just because I was really, really mad. I was really, really mad. I was like, no, how dare you just make me think that this is gonna be good and I'm gonna be able to like show it to all of my non-yaoi friends and be like, look, this one's really good. You know, you really like the art and everything, and you're gonna love it. And then no, I gotta like hide it in some corner of my computer, like with a lock on it that says "Do not look at." You know, like don't read this, Mom. You know, like something like that. Like it really disappointed me, and I can't. Nope.
Yeah.
It's like never show a friend an unfinished fic, right? Like
Exactly.
you don't know what's gonna happen there. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I think I might change my score to, for a yaoi, I give it like a 6.5 because within the yaoi genre, it's like, all right.
It's pretty okay.
A little bit of an edge. It's okay. But yeah, from like a different standpoint, like critical and stuff, I think a 5 is a little bit more where I would land, because I was thinking about it. I was like, as you were talking, I was like, yeah, 6.5 is a little high for just in general where it's at. But yeah.
Yeah.
Only attempt if you're a veteran yaoi fan.
Yes.
Vets only.
Vets only.
Bring your 10-gallon hat.
But even then, speaking as vets, you might still walk away being like, that was a goddamn 5. That was a goddamn 5 out of 10.
Yes. Just go read her other stuff. Just go read her other things, and you'll be so much happier with your life decisions. Don't judge her by this one. This one is so sad
It
compared
is very sad.
to the rest of her stuff.
The lost potential.
No, it hurts. All right. Now that we've done discussing 10 count, I'm gonna go ahead and read the description for the manga that we are reading next week, and then everyone in chat gets to guess what it is. All right. Yue has always loved shoujo manga and awaits the day she gets a love confession that sends her heart aflutter with bubbles and blushes, and yet when a junior high classmate confesses his feelings to her, she feels nothing. Disappointed and confused, Yue enters high school, still unsure how to respond. That's when Yue sees the beautiful student council president, Nanami, turn down a suitor with such maturity that she's inspired to ask her for help. But when the next person to confess to Yue is Nanami herself, that's not a sentence. Okay. Has her shoujo romance finally begun? Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Are they gonna get
What
it?
is it? What's it called?
What?
I've read that, but I forgot the title.
I'm waiting. Oh! Since we had Yaoi Pod this week as a guest, Yuri Pod is next week. Just as a guess. We like to
Tokyo
keep 'em.
Drift,
Yes,
you got
it's
it.
Tokyo Drift.
Texas, yes, good. These are all correct answers.
Yes. UA and the Texans.
Yeah.
Come on, go.
Dragon Ball
I
Z.
believe.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Also.
The greatest Yuri manga ever.
Dragon
Dragon
Ball.
Ball Z.
Toriyama. Delicate girls
It's
loving
a
each
little
other.
subversive, but if you go back and read it again, I think you'll see it.
I mean the subtext. It's it's there.
I mean, it's all there.
I love how so many people are like, I've read this, but I don't remember the name.
What's it called?
No.
What's it called?
Neo Yokio. Akira.
Yep.
I think people are busy trying to figure out what state Yuri
Yeah, they
is.
want to know what state Yuri is.
We'll get back to you. Let us read
Look,
the manga.
yeah, we won't know until next week.
All right, guys, I'm gonna give you the title if everyone's good.
Yeah.
Okay. It is Bloom Into You. You got to Kimi no Naru. Bloom Into You. Yeah, that's the Yuri / I think it's Shoujo Ai. I don't know if it's quite hardcore Yuri. There's a lot of, speaking of hard yaoi to come by, it's a lot harder to find good Yuri, like well-written Yuri.
Yeah.
As well.
Both genres are filled with lots of garbage.
Lots of trash.
It's because they're mostly written by the opposite gender, I think. It really plays a lot into it.
I agree. We should read My Brother's Husband. I
would love to read that, actually.
Oh my gosh.
I've actually not read that one, but I've heard so many wonderful things. So, and it's no, it looks really super adorable, and that's like my favorite type of yaoi.
Yes, I love it so much. Just a random comment. All right, shall we go around and shout out our stuff super fast before signing off? Right? I didn't do anything out of order, right? Okay, cool. Hello, I'm Erin of Happily Erin. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Happily Erin. It's mostly the MangaPod channel right now. So you can go and check out all the previous MangaPods that are hosted there, but I've also done a lot of reviews and first impressions, mental health awareness stuff. I've been really inactive because I'm working on my first book.
Yay!
First draft last week, and I started crying and rolling on the floor because I felt like I was dead. So, thanks, guys. Thanks. So that's kind of why I've been MIA. I've been doing a lot with that. But I'm pretty active on other social media. Twitter, Instagram are the two main ones. So come and talk to me if you would like.
Hi guys, I'm Dodger. You can find me at Dex Bonus on pretty much everything. I have a coffee company that you can find at dodgercoffeeco.com. And I'm doing Vlogmas right now. So if you would like to see daily vlogs, you can find them at youtube.com/presshearttocontinue for the month of December.
Hey.
Yay.
My name is Lou. I'm from a YouTube channel called Lou Talks Anime, where I occasionally make videos, but I'm really active on Twitter, so go over there if you actually want to see me produce content. Usually a lot of shit posting, and that's okay. So Lou Talks Anime is my Twitter. So yeah, go talk to me there. Be a good time.
So I've been 42Believer, and the two main places you can find me is probably right now, most importantly, at my Twitter at 42Believer, and you should definitely follow me on there for keep an eye on all my updates, and yes, definitely shit posting. I love Twitter a lot more than I probably should. But also subscribe to my YouTube channel, 42Believer, and keep your eye on that as well, because there is going to be some videos in the future, and there's one that I really, really, really want you to watch. So please keep your eye out for that. Like, really, really want you to watch. So I hope you enjoy it.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm hyped.
I'm excited to see it.
It's about nothing that you think it's about, and that's the best thing about it.
Great.
Perfect.
Awesome. Perfect.
So thanks for having me on.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming
for
on. We would
joining us.
never have a Yaoi pod without you, lovely.
True.
It'd be wrong.
Thank you. Excited for the next one whenever you want me back.
Yeah, every Christmas, man, we celebrate with Yaoi and Yuri. That's our MangaPod way. Mm-hmm. If you guys would like more MangaPod, we do have a subreddit, reddit.com/r/MangaPod. We have a recommendation thread there for people to recommend manga that you would like to see in the future. And we will be posting the new schedule for January through June of next year. We'll be posting that soon. So be looking out for that. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching the VOD of this, thank you so much for checking us out. If you're watching on Twitch, thanks guys, you're awesome. But we will see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye-bye.